Let's get it. What up? What up? What up? It's been a couple of days. It's been a couple of days. Oh, been a couple of days. Yeah. Basically, it was my mama's birthday. It was my mama's birthday, and I went and visited her at the gravesite. And you know, I'm more of a let's celebrate life more than let's celebrate death type of a guy. My wife fucking my wife remembers the day everyone died. Every animal, every pet she's ever owned, every relative, and she always has to bring it up. Oh, you know what today is? I'm like, did someone we know die today? Yeah. Well, don't fucking tell me. Thanks. She always does that. I don't know why. Some people remember that shit, I guess. Me, I like to remember their birthday and other holidays and stuff like that. Not the day they died. Jesus Christ. Oh, anyway, it was her birthday the other day, and I was a little sad. Not usually. I've been holding it together pretty good past 5 years or so. Yeah, this time though, I needed some alone time, so to speak. I just needed a time away from everyone, the internet and shit, for a couple days. Yeah, her birthday was on, well, I don't want to say, because people get weird. People get weird on the internet. You know, someone will like leave a weird comment. It happens. So, yeah, I've mentioned it before, but anyway, long story short, you know, I was a little sad, and so I needed some time away from the internet. So that's why I haven't been live streaming. Fuck my schedule up a little bit. Back on track today, it seems. Yeah. Don't know what else to say, but that's where I've been. Man, I can't stop sipping on this coffee. It's so goddamn good. I put a little too much creamer in it, as usual, but it depends on the coffee. If it's like shitty coffee, I'll dump a lot of creamer in it. If it's like really good coffee, I don't want to put almost anything in there. I'm having my barrel cask coffee. That's so good. What a novel idea. Got oatmeal in my teeth, tooth hole. Ah. The train's getting bigger. I know you noticed it. See that shit? Soda cans. 0 sugar, 0 sugar, 0 sugar, 0 sugar. Get in there. Are you in there? You can't see him. Oh, you can see it moving a little bit. Hold on, get in there. Come on, get in there. Can you see that? There you go. Come on, get in there. Go on, get in there. Go on. Go on, get in there. He doesn't like it now that it's big and long, but when it was just 2, he loved that shit. Oh. Yeah, so just get... Yeah, just getting over the sads a little bit. But today isn't going to be me weeping and moaning about that. Just wanted to let y'all know what was going on with me. I've been doing a lot of gaming. Recently. As you know, or maybe not, my main channel is a gaming channel, and I'm in the middle of sunsetting it. I'm going to move over. Think what I'm going to do is I'm going to move over What Have You Been Playing over to this channel. And that's low-key going to be pretty much, I say pretty much because something crazy might happen that I'll absolutely need to talk about and get off my chest. That's gaming related, but for the most part, that's going to be my only gaming related content over here on this channel. Yeah, that's about it. So at the end of the month here, about 15 days or so, I'm going to be doing a What Have You Been Playing? And I'll be talking about games and all the games I've been playing, and it's pretty much just going to be that. And not a lot of people are going to dig it, and I'm fine with that. I talk about anything really on this channel anyway. And since I'm not going to be doing content on my other channel, my main channel, I'm going to keep calling it my main channel until this channel overtakes it in subs, which will probably be never. But it is what it is. But yeah, I've been playing a lot of games, having a lot of fun with shit. I don't know if you can see it on the desk there. Hold on. What I'm seeing in real life is not reflecting what I'm seeing on camera. The fuck is that? Oh, it's just too low res for me to make it out. Yeah, you could see it over there. It's Metroid Prime Remastered. Having a lot of fun with that shit. Anyway, I got a topic for today, and it's the trans stuff. Let's talk about the trans stuff, the trans burnout. Yeah, it's I'm a politico, and I pay attention to the news, so to speak. There's several commentators I watch who, gather the info for me and the articles and the headlines and stuff for me. And depending on the creator, we will, read it word for word and pick it apart, critique the article, whether or not it's a good article, why it's a bad article, the politics involved. I'm getting live updates. Oh, thank you. YouTube is now live. Amazon delivered your order. Really? What the hell? Why is that doing that now? This shit is so fucking weird. Amazon delivered my fucking order yesterday. Yeah, so the trans stuff is really dominating this news cycle right now, and it's getting it's boring. It's fucking boring, man. It's fucking boring. It's just something that shouldn't be a deal. It's just something that shouldn't be a deal at all. And it's so confusing, especially to someone like me. When I was in the industry, the mental health industry, and I was a counselor, for a very brief amount of time. But when I was there, there was trans dysphoria was a thing. It wasn't an identity. Not yet. It wasn't an identity. It definitely wasn't part of the fucking alphabet. The new alphabet, the LGBT. At that time, it was just LGB. And not a lot of people knew what it was. And admittedly, going into it, when I started working there, I still had no idea what the hell it was. And then I learned about dysphoria, and it's a real thing. I met someone, not a patient, but, and it wasn't their main thing. They were actually either bipolar or depressed, I don't remember. But they had a form of dysphoria. They had this weird thing where they felt like it was sleep related. It was diagnosed as a sleep related illness, like insomnia or something like that. They felt like their arms and legs weren't part of their body, like they would have like an out of body experience. That's how they described it. And they felt like it specifically affected their arms and legs. They said that repeatedly, like it wasn't like they felt like they were coming out of their body, like an astral projection or something like that. And they had like a big problem with their arms and legs. And sometimes that would like go in waking, like a waking dream. I wasn't a medical doctor. I didn't prescribe medication. I was a counselor, so I wasn't able to like medically give them advice. Just I was helping people with just on the talking side of things. Anyway, their condition was classified as a sleep disorder, and I was instructed to talk to them about the sleep disorder. But I poked and prodded a little bit about the situation in general, and that is the only dysphoria. That is the only patient I've ever had, that displayed or talked about had any sort of dysphoria whatsoever. The amount of people with actual trans dysphoria that I treated and talked to, zero. Here in the Seattle area, zero. This was like 25 years ago about, right? So that was that. And now today, learning that trans dysphoria is no longer classified as a mental illness anymore is bonkers. No pun intended. Is absolutely fucking bonkers. I was actually having a discussion with this on ChatGPT, and I caught it outright lying and just talking in circles. It would say one thing, and I'd say, well, that's not true. This is the actual definition, and say, oh, I'm sorry, you're right. This is, what that means. And then I say, okay, well, why doesn't it apply to that? And then it would just loop back around to what it said at the beginning, and it would be a constant circle of, all that shit. And it was ridiculous. So basically, dysphoria is a real thing. There's many different types of dysphoria, and there's ways to treat dysphoria. But one thing you don't do to treat dysphoria is you don't encourage it by encouraging you to remove the things that you feel you're dysphoric about. Like if it's a limb or what have you, the doctor doesn't say, well, to confirm your identity, you should cut it off. Some of those things are vital and we will die if we don't have them. But that is not the way to treat it. That is not encouraged. And that is the reason why they are declassifying trans dysphoria as a mental health condition. But it still is in a lot of areas of the world, a mental health condition. The WHO, the World Health Organization, declassified it, I learned, or is trying to, one of the two. I learned recently, just absolutely fucking bonkers. There's nothing, like literally from a medical standpoint, there's nothing different, of course, aside from the gendered language, from other dysphorias, aside from the gendered language, there's nothing specific about trans dysphoria that is different from other dysphorias. Nothing. There's nothing different about it. And there's no reason why it should be treated any differently. Yet it is. As soon as it was classified as part of the new alphabet, then it was treated differently. And that's what these people do. They want to be treated differently, unfairly, and to their detriment in a lot of cases. All you need to do is all you need is a letter. All you need is a letter and then new alphabet and you're set. I want to know, what the hell is IA? What the hell is IA? LGB, lesbian, gay, bi, trans, LGBTQ is queer. What the hell is AI? Asexual. I think. The hell is I? Fuck, man, I don't know. I don't fucking know. So I'm not critiquing the LGBT community as a whole, just the trans stuff. And my stance has always been, unless I could see something scientific here that would prove otherwise, which I haven't yet. No new breakthroughs, no new discoveries, no new research or science, just ideology. Well, let's declassify it so these people can do whatever the fuck they want. I've always, oh man, this is going to sound so bad. I've always been kind of a eugenicist when it comes to mental health. Kinda, not really, but kinda. Not really, because I would never employ action against the people. Because, I believe in freedom and all that stuff, the right to live, and who's to say who gets to procreate and stuff. I believe in the pursuit of happiness and the American dream and human rights and all of that good stuff. That's way higher up on the tier. That being said, I do recognize that, bad genes exist. My diabetes is not because, I was a fatty. I mean, if you go back and look at my previous videos, I was a little heavy. But I was never huge. Overweight for sure, but I was never huge. I never chugged the sugars, and I know you're like, really? You never? Nah. I'm drinking a lot of fucking sugar-free pop, sugar-free soda, these days, because I can't have sugar. And sugar-free soda tastes like the good old days. I know it's not the same. My wife will have a can of Coke and I'll have a can of Coke Zero or something like that. It was Pepsi. It was Pepsi Zero. I took a swig of it and I haven't had the sugar-free version of Pepsi yet. And so I took a swig of that and I was like, oh, this was pretty good. It tastes a lot like the original. Damn, this is really damn good. I was digging it. She had a can of fucking Pepsi right there. Just plain. I was like, let me compare real quick. I took a sip of hers. Hoboken. There was no comparison. It was all in my head. Anyway, yeah, I'm not drinking the sugar shit. I wasn't drinking soda like I was now. I'm just drinking a lot of it now because I can't have sugar. But yeah, my point is I was never a fatty. I was never big. I never swilled the sugars. I have got diabetes before 40 because I got horrible fucking genes. It's that simple. I'm glad I'm alive. I'm glad I existed because the right people were doing the right kind of fucking in my history. But if my ancestors made better decisions, or they were smarter, or they had a better religion or better practices due to their upbringing and what have you, and were able to procreate better, maybe I wouldn't have diabetes. And likewise, if the wrong people, and this ties into like the world problem we're heading into. There's definitely a population problem. Modern medicine has helped a little bit, but people used to have 10 children and live on homesteads. People, doctors would tell you have like 10 babies because only 5 of them will survive, the population has declined so much. Just the birth rate has been cut in half since the 70s. And then today, the wrong people are having kids. And by wrong people, I mean the uneducated and impoverished communities around the globe. They're just having kids, tons of fucking kids. And they're just reinforcing and just bolstering the numbers of these impoverished areas. It's horrible. Places like in China, the Middle East and Africa and Asia and other places, where they might not have a school, but they have a distribution center, or a not distribution center, but a resource gathering center for some giant company that you could work at when you turn 6. All the wrong people are having kids, and people like me aren't. So that's a problem. And, I don't think we're ever going to start rounding people up again and killing them. Well, I'm not saying there won't be genocide. There's definitely going to be genocide. There's genocide going on right now. But I don't think the globalists are going to start rounding people up and killing them because we have too many people. We're going to have a population crisis. There's not going to be enough people. And the smartest people on the planet recognize that. People like Elon Musk are trying to make a robot army for labor purposes to kind of fill in the gap there. But my point here is this. I don't think we're going to round people up because we're going to need all the people we can. It's going to be easier to control them than just deal with them. They're not going to be like, there's too many people, too many pores, we got to kill them. They're going to use them as labor, the rich and the powerful and stuff in the future. But it would help if less people were, dumb. It just would, and this trans identity thing. And I'm not just talking about people who identify as being trans. I'm also talking about the parents who are pushing that shit. I saw a study that like half of gay parents, half of people who have parents where one of them is gay, or shit happens. Like my wife works at a place. There's this one gay broad there, an older chick. She's like in her 60s now. She had like hip surgery and heart surgery and shit. She liked to party when she was younger. She was married. She was married to a feller, has kids, but she's gay now. I don't know how that happens. I just don't know how that happens. I suppose you could be bi. swing one way and then decide you want to swing the other way. But I just don't know how that happens, where you're a mother or a father, you're in a relationship, you're married, and then all of a sudden you're gay now. I don't know how that happens. Obviously, someone is dishonest with themselves. But half of these households, well, I wouldn't even call them households, but half of the people who are parents who have at least one gay parent is gay themselves, statistically. And we all know what happens there. Now, not every single one of these households, I'll call them, are, parents split, one of them's gay, the gay one remarries, and they get to keep the kids. And they, the household now consists of two gay lesbians. You have two moms now, I guess. Or you're adopted. They push that shit on the kid, which is wild to me. Which is fucking wild to me because, well, what if they're not? What if they're fucking not? And you don't, not to my knowledge, you don't inherit being gay on a genetic level. So, yeah, that's crazy. That's crazy to me. And it's just not true. You know damn well it's something like one, and the numbers keep increasing every year because it's avant-garde to, have some sort of gayness. I don't know. But a lot of it's artificial. I'm really interested in knowing, like, how far certain people would go. There's that, is it Vice or Vox? I think it's Vice. Vox? It's Vice or Vox. I don't remember which one, but it's that video that they get a bunch of straight people, right? And ask them if they would be, down with kissing another person of the same sex. I think they got a bunch of dudes together, and they're all supposed to be straight. They are clearly not when you see the video. And that's my point. Are any of them gay for real? Like, I mean, straight for real? Or did they just get a bunch of gay guys together and then make a weirdly titled video and concept for content? Is any of them actually straight? I don't think so. I don't fucking think so. Because I don't know a single straight guy that would kiss another dude. Not one. Not fucking one. Same goes for, like, being gay too. Another person at my wife's work, there's a lot of gay. Okay, first of all, I live in the Seattle area. And second of all, I the industry she works at, there's a lot of like secretary. There's a lot of, I don't know how to put it. It's not a very manly man job setting. And then on top of that, there's, a lot of the higher ups are gay themselves, and they do hire gay people. They go out of their way to do that. So there's a lot of them there. But there was a person who, she's a lesbian. A lot of it's an act. That doesn't make any sense either. This is what I mean by how weird and fake they are. So this person I was going to talk about, I was going to say she fucking hates men. Stacy will, when they were younger, Stacy would, like, go into work and brag and stuff when she, would sleep with me and stuff like that, and talk about how big my dick is and how good I gave it to her and stuff like that. When she was younger. She don't do that too much anymore. But yeah, she'd go to work and brag, and she would be one of the girls who, she got She got to let everyone know. A lot of gay people there. A lot of them don't give a fuck. She learned that really quickly. But one in particular, like, always would get grossed out when she would say stuff. And she would tell me how grossed out Angela would get and stuff. And I always thought that was weird. It's like, you know, to physically, I mean, it's weird that my wife was bragging. Apparently that's what they do. They would all get together and they would, women are, men and women are so similar when it comes to a lot of things. They do the same fucking shit. They just do it in a different way. But yeah, she'd talk about sex stories and stuff with all the girls. I think girls do that shit more than guys do. Because guys get weirdly like pack animal about it, right? You know, they start puffing up their chests and stuff. It's a litmus test to one another. You know, order establishing who's the alpha, who's the beta, who's the omega, and all that stuff, right? So we kind of don't. We kind of don't because it causes problems. I don't know. But my point here is I was going to say that, you know, her coworker in particular always got grossed out, which again is weird to me because she still sleeps with dudes. Straight up. You know, she'd be at work and she'd talk about how gay she is and how much she hates men and all this stuff, yada, yada, yada. Pretend like she's throwing up if, you know, a penis is mentioned. All right. It's all for show. It's all for show. And then when she's at a party and she gets drunk, she'll fuck a dude. Not my wife, the fucking friend. It's just the weirdest shit. I don't know what's going on there. I don't know what point I was trying to make there. Just trying to make an observation. I guess I was going to say that. I guess the point I was trying to say is I don't know anyone that would betray their sexuality, no matter what side of the fence you're on. I suppose. I got a fart. I'm like sitting on a fart. It was trying to come out and I was keeping it. Now that I'm older, my ass has gotten flatter. Like it's flat and flabby. And when I sit, it like pancakes out and it traps all the air there. It's not a big bubble butt anymore where it fucking, there's a huge fucking crevice, a huge fucking airflow where my crack was. You know, it ain't like that anymore. I can't fart sitting down where it just shoots out the fucking crack on my big fucking bubble butt. My grandma used to, I'm not going to say it. I've said the N-word way too many times these past few videos. My grandma used to say I had a big bubble butt. Not anymore. That shit is flat. I can't fart sitting down no more. It's just not a thing. It can't happen. It's an airtight seal of flab with fucking 200 pounds sitting on top of it. It ain't happening. I gotta fucking wiggle. But no, I've never seen anyone betray their sexuality before. Not really. I got a friend who has, but I always thought this guy was bi. You know, I always thought he was bi. Everyone always joked about it. Everyone always alluded to it, and he would always do shit that people would go, "Yeah, you're a switch hitter. You know, you might not know it yet." I think he knows it. Just, you know, I'm from an older generation. You know, I'm about 40. He's about 40. He's gone so long. He's not gonna do it. He ain't gonna do it. He's not gonna come out. But we all know. He is the only example that I could think of that has betrayed their sexuality. Everyone else I know, all my other friends, not once. They never got drunk and sucked some dude off. They weren't at a party and things got a little crazy and they just kissed. No, never. I've been in those situations, you know, being drunk and stuff like that. And I'd tell the guy to back off. Like, what the fuck? What are you doing? I don't think it's a thing. I don't think people just, you know, get crazy or whatever and do stuff. I don't think so. I really don't. So I don't know how people are betraying themselves so much. It's so weird to me. It's so fucking weird to me. I can't quantify it. The only thing I can think of is there are more gay people. There are. There have to be more than that has been measured. There has to be more, right? If people are just coming out left and right. A lot of it's fake though. A lot of it's fake. They come out and they say they are, but they don't practice. You know what I mean? They might do the TikTok video where they're like smearing makeup all over themselves and shit, and they get however many fucking followers. And if you're a parent, don't fucking let your kids do that shit. I mean, it's just gross. It's fucking gross. Don't let your fucking kid be on TikTok, number one. Number two, don't let them, they're just exposed to all that weird shit. The kid thing is a problem. Kid thing is a problem. They definitely are targeting the kids. Anyway, enough going down the rabbit hole and talk about all that stuff. The trans thing I want to talk about. It's in the news cycle constantly. There's always something going on. Always. I know you can spot that Coors can back there, if you know where I'm going with that. It's just in the news cycle all the time. You had that trans shooter that the media's. I told someone that they were trans, and they. It was the madhouse. You know, the topic got brought up, and they didn't know that the shooter was trans. I told them, and they don't go to actual news articles. They're on social media, but they don't. They're part of some Facebook groups and stuff, but they don't get their news from there. They literally just get their news from the TV. And they're older and stuff. And like it's part of their routine. Like they're definitely in that age group. They'll get up and they'll watch it, and you know, it'll be on all day in the background. They didn't know. And it's because the media is hiding it. And they're pretty based. They just don't pay attention. There's been issues where I had to tell them stuff. And they don't believe it. For instance, COVID being a lab leak. They straight up think it came from, you know, animals. I think the theory is that, you know, I think the working theory is right now that they're supposed to dispose of some bats, and there's a wet market there in the area, and the janitor or whoever thought, you know, these are perfectly fine bats. I'm going to sell them on the wet market in this communist downtrodden country and city, where they're probably paying me cents. That's the working theory with the lab with the wet market there and all that stuff. Illegal wet market, by the way. That's the working theory, at least, but it's pretty much been proven. Yeah, wasn't there an investigation and they said that as much? You don't hear much about that anymore. You know, where did COVID come from and this and that? Like that's always part of the conversation until we figured out, okay, we know where it's coming from. And then all of a sudden you don't hear about it anymore. Fucking wild, man. Fucking wild. What kind of times do we live in? It wasn't like this before. It wasn't fucking like this before, man. It really wasn't. But yeah, the trans stuff is in the news cycle all the time. The shooting, then the shit, the Bud Light. I'm kind of in awe. Like, really? That's the thing, you guys? That's the thing you're going to put your foot down on? And then I see a lot of like conservative like outlets and stuff talking about it, making the case, and saying shit like, "Oh no, it's not about hating trans people. It's we don't have a problem with trans. It's just, you know, Dylan Mulvaney in specific talking about kids and they do this whole kid angle. And I think it's a little sad because, well, it is because they're trans or say they're trans or what have you. As it has nothing to do. Well, I shouldn't say it has nothing to do. They are targeting kids. Dylan Mulvaney in specific, who's mass following our children on TikTok. But if you didn't already know, which I'm sure you did, Budweiser, specifically Bud Light, partnered with Dylan Mulvaney. People hate Dylan Mulvaney. People are boycotting Bud Light and Anheuser-Busch. That's basically what's going on. But I think it's pathetic that some, not all, some of the conservative community is backpedaling and saying, oh, well, we don't have a problem with trans people. We just have a problem with Dylan Mulvaney in specific. And then they go with the whole kid route to go jump through a bunch of hoops and stuff like that. It's like, I don't think people know who the fuck Dylan Mulvaney is. I don't think your average Joe, the people who are, boycotting Bud Light and stuff like that, which it's working. They're losing money. You could see Bud Light on the shelves because, no one's buying it. I haven't looked myself. I haven't been to the store since this, past, because, we do big shopping like every once in a while, but I'm gonna have to check it out myself just to look. But yeah, it's a little pathetic. People are pretending like it's not just because they're trans. I think it is. I think people are like, no, we're fucking tired of this shit. I don't think it has anything to do with kids and TikTok and who their market audience is and the right message towards the youth and blah, 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 blah. I mean, all that's good and fine. I understand that exists and that's part of the larger problem, but it isn't the problem. The problem is that this fucking dork thinks he's a woman, or is at least pretending. There's a theory out there that Dylan Mulvaney isn't actually trans. They're just a clout chaser. And then after several failed attempts at following trends, this one caught on. I don't know. I don't fucking know. I don't fucking care. Walks like a duck, talks like a duck, lies like a duck. You're a lying ass duck. I don't fucking care what your motivation is. But yeah, I don't think people give a shit about the whole child angle, specifically when it comes to the trans stuff. Some of them do. Of course, I do. It's a problem. But the larger problem isn't even that. That's just a byproduct, I believe. The larger problem is just the trans community itself. I think that's what people have a problem with. And that's why this boycott is a thing. Not because everyone is just magically dialed into the 4D chess thing about fucking how they're targeting kids and stuff like that. And that's the real problem. No. Now, people just don't like the fucking dude in the dress. That's it. That's literally it. But yeah, I think it's pathetic that some people are like backtracking. People like Tim Pool, for instance, are like, oh, it has nothing to do with trans. It's like, I mean, I'm super glad that you're friends with Blair White. But no, people are just tired of this shit. People are just fucking tired of this shit. And it's just in the news cycle all the time. All the fucking time. All the fucking time. And I'm so tired of talking about it. I'm so fucking tired of talking about it. I get these people are going to be floating around. Legitimate or not, doesn't really matter to me. It's still such a small amount of people. I'm living here in the Seattle area too. Like there's ton. I saw Navajo Joe yesterday. Navajo Joe. Navajo Joe. Navajo Joe. Navajo Joe is a homeless guy that walks the streets around here locally. I'll see him in the summertime. I'm starting to see him now. I don't know if he actually like migrates or what, but like when it gets to be around this time, he'll appear. He's an older guy. He's an older guy. He's got to be in his 50s at least. 10 years ago, he had to have been in his 50s. But he's an older guy, homeless guy. Walks around with bags. I saw him sleeping. I always see him sleeping at weird places. He was in the fucking Jack in the Box years ago. Me and my wife went in there. We're eating in there. He was sleeping. I've seen him at the library. That's where I saw him the other day. I saw him at the library. You see him walking around here. He's homeless. Probably has mental illness. And I got a soft spot in my heart for him. There's a lot of homeless around here. Most of it's just drug addicts that are just happen to be homeless. They by choice. They don't really give a fuck about getting better. I don't like those people. They're not homeless, in my opinion. They just don't give a fuck enough to wanna. They have other priorities other than a roof over their head. And those priorities are drugs. Navajo Joe, don't know his real name. Navajo Joe's been here for over a decade, walking around. He's a real homeless guy. And it's very obvious he's, because I've seen him talking to himself. He's got some sort of mental illness. I feel sorry for him. I got a soft spot in my heart for someone like that. And there's a problem around this area. Him, though, someone like him I could feel bad about. I don't know where I was going with this. I was going to make some sort of comparison between, mental health and the homeless, and, there's trans individuals. They exist. Navajo Joe, people like that, people with actual mental illnesses, exist. But not all of them are like that. Not all of the homeless around here are true homeless people in need, people with mental illness. Most of them are just drug addicts. Trans community, most of them are fakers, at least around here. I don't know what's going on, but this shit is in the news cycle all the time, and I'm just kind of tired of it. I just wanted to talk about it and weigh in a little bit. So it is a mental illness. Real trans people, real trans issues. It's called trans dysphoria. It's not called being trans. It's not part of the new alphabet. It's a mental illness. It's been here for a while. It's a thing, and it's being treated differently, and it shouldn't be. It's causing a problem. So fucking tired of talking about it. It's everywhere. I don't want it to be. I don't want this Bud Light thing to be a problem. I don't want to boycott, Anheuser-Busch. I don't want there to be people shooting up schools. I don't want Dylan Mulvaney to be a sponsor. I don't want any of this. I'm tired of talking about it, and I'm tired of seeing everyone's take on it. And now I'm giving mine, and I'm tired of fucking people just acting like jerk-offs and backtracking. Tim Pool, I have I'm friends with Blair White, and so I'm never going to criticize. I have to find a weird new angle to criticize it, which is weird to me. And then you have people like Blair White and other trans individuals who are like, oh, I'm trans and I'm mentally ill, but I don't like the kid stuff. It's like, good for you. Who gives a fuck? I don't give a fuck what you think. You're mentally ill. That's a little I don't mean it like that. Well, I kind of do. I don't know. It depends what we're talking about. Someone came in when I was saying that shit and then they left. Man. But just everyone's just backtracking and changing what they're saying. Joe Rogan too. Joe Rogan just doesn't fucking get it either. Man, it's just so tiring. It's so tiring It's just not a thing. It's just not a thing. And they keep trying to make it a thing. Everyone, the media, the commentators, everyone keeps trying to make it a thing. And it's only a thing because they keep bringing it up. And every time it gets talked about, it just feels like everyone's spinning their wheels. I don't like to talk about the trans issue very often because there's nothing there. There's nothing fucking there. I don't care. There's not a lot of people. Even here in Seattle, there's not a lot of people. Not a lot. Way more than there should be. Way more than if you, let's say lived in Missoula, Montana. But still, man, I saw one the other day too. Straight up, just dude with a 5 o'clock shadow. Oh man, they look so gross too. They weren't even trying. They weren't even trying. Those are the worst. They look like fucking hobgoblins and shit. So fucking gross. Not the pretty ones, the feminine ones. Those ones, the ones that try. Though I give some respect to that. But the ones that don't even try, it's just gross. How come more trans people don't call that shit out? They're like, ugh, girl, what the fuck? Why don't you shave your shit? That ain't cool. Oh, damn. Where's RuPaul with all this shit? You figure he'd be showing for RuPaul. RuPaul's just a gay guy that likes to dress up. I don't think he considers himself a woman. He's keeping his mouth shut on the issue. They will cancel his black ass like that. That wasn't a very good one. That was a limp wrist one. Let's go with a better one. I get one more try. One more. God damn, what is going on? What is going on? I can't. There we go. There we go. Man, sometimes can't snap all that good. That always offended me, a weak snap. There we go. A weak snap always offended me. I had to prove to y'all I could snap. I got the manly snap. Now my fucking finger hurts. It's not how hard you snap, it's how hard you slap your finger against your fucking whatever muscle this is. So I'm barely doing any pressure at, and it's like super loud. But when I was doing it harder, it wasn't fucking doing it. Oh man. Yeah, I just want to talk about that a little bit. And just voice how tired I am of all of it. It's not a thing. And everyone keeps making it a thing, and then people boycott it, and it's more of a thing, and it's just always it's this artificial thing. It's this artificial thing that never should have been a thing. People getting upset over it, people crying over it, people are just fucking tired of it. And people who are advocates for trans and stuff, and the weirdest thing to me, maybe not the weirdest, but one of the weird things to me is how the gay community, the LGBT community, has embraced the T so much. And they don't like them. They don't like them. It's so easy to be co-opted. It's so easy. It's one thing to pretend to be gay. It's like, okay, whatever. You ain't going to sleep with them. You ain't going to go that far in your deep fake. You ain't going to pretend that hard. But with the trans stuff, that shit is easy. All you got to do is put a dress on. All you got to do is put makeup on. You don't have to do anything. You don't have to be gay. You don't have to be straight. You don't have to disclose anything. You don't actually have to have the surgeries. You don't have to do shit. All you have to do is put on a dress and say it. And then you're good. Then you're in. It's an identity now. It's protected. And y'all let a bunch of fucking fakers in, and now they've taken over. And they're all mentally ill. They're all mentally ill. And you gay people, man, you guys let the wolf in the fucking chicken coop. But yeah, I am tired of. Well, I don't really get to talk about it because I don't really care. Number one. Number two, I just see it all the time. It's just it is the news cycle now. You know, Ukraine and Russia are kind of trying to do shit. Taiwan and China are gearing up. And there's some other shit going on, but you know, for the most part, it's the trans stuff all the time, every time. And if it isn't directly translated, if it's not directly related to trans issues, it's the stories about someone who's protecting or attacking trans issues, or you know, it's third generation related where someone's retaliating towards that stance. Oh, and it's just all the time, every time. And I'm so tired of it. I really want it to blow over. I really want it to blow over. At least with an issue like COVID, it relates to me. The lockdowns relate to me. The vaccine relates to me. You know, it's something that, you know, if my wife didn't get, she would lose her job. You know, it's something that if I didn't get, then I wouldn't be able to go in certain places. I had to endure lockdowns and shortages. It's something that actually related to me. And then while, yes, I was so fucking tired of hearing about it, at least it's something that relates to me. This doesn't relate to me. And I'm sorry to say, even a fucking, when a shooting happens, that doesn't relate to me. I don't have any kids of my own. I'm not fucking Christian. It doesn't relate to me. Not to be, you know, insensitive towards the families or whatnot, but it just doesn't. So fucking tired of this stupid fucking issue that doesn't. I'm not even on social media to get canceled. I guess someone could like report my video and stuff, but no one really gives a fuck. At least not yet. Anyway, I got some, you know how it goes. I got drinks to drink, bitches to fuck, and games to play. And I'm serious about one of those. This was so good. It was so fucking good. Anyway, I'm going to take off. I'm trying to keep these things shorter than an hour. But yeah, I'll try to do that. I just go on here and I ramble too fucking much. That's what I do anyways. I ramble. Yeah, just got to get over some stuff. Like I said, I was a little sad. And you know, this topic has gone on long enough. I don't have anything specific. I don't have a stance. Well, I guess my stance is it's you know, a mental illness. So I will say this though, I point that out a lot, like online, and the main feedback I get is that I'm transphobic, like I'm hating against trans people. I don't hate them because of their disability. I do firmly believe it is a disability. It is a disability. It was a disability when I was in the field. It was treated as such. It's a fact. You know, I don't hate people with mental illness. There's, you know, talk about Navajo Joe. You know, I'm sympathetic towards him, which I was the point I was going to be making. You know, there's a pair of drug addicts, two dudes that hang out at our local library. They shouldn't be there. They're drug addicts. They don't try. They're gross. I don't like them. They should leave. That's not the same as Navajo Joe. Navajo Joe he has mental illness. He has problems. I don't know all of his, you know, the ins and outs of his downtrodden lifestyle, but you know, I'm sympathetic towards someone like him, not from some fucking drug addict. And one should be sympathetic towards someone with mental illness. I don't think we should prop them up on pedestals. I don't think we should listen to their ideas and their ramblings and take it seriously. That's another point I was trying to make with Blair White talking about, oh, we don't like the kids stuff. I don't really give a fuck what you think. Not because you're less of a human, but because you are mentally ill, and I don't value your opinion. I don't value your ramblings. I don't value your political opinion. I don't really care what you think. This isn't your fight. This isn't you're mentally ill. And it sounds harsh, but it is what it is. You're not going to hire, someone with bipolar disorder to, I don't know. It's just not what we do. I'm sure you could make a case that that's wrong, but I already know what that case would sound like. It would just be a human rights campaign about hate and hate speech and blah, 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 blah. You wouldn't have an actual case. And that's basically what I get. That's the flack I get when I say that trans people are mentally ill. It's not phobia. It's just, it is what it is. And they are not being treated. They are not being taken seriously. They're being encouraged. Their illness is being encouraged. You don't tell an alcoholic, drink more alcohol. You tell them stop drinking alcohol. You don't tell someone with dysphoria to cut off that fucking limb they don't fucking like, because it's detrimental to them. Why would you tell someone to do that when it comes to this issue? The truth is, this is the manipulation. This is the thing to look for. The thing is this in particular is being treated differently from all other dysphorias. And you could tell. So the first thing they did is they separated it from all other dysphorias. They stopped calling that. They controlled the language. They're banning certain words. They're calling it, they're not calling it chopping off your limbs and dysphoria. They're calling it gender affirming care. They changed nothing's changed. It's still the same thing. Hormone treatments and mutilation, mental illness. They're changing all the words. It's the same thing. They're doing the same things. In reality, it's all the same shit. But they're changing all the words. They're not doing a damn thing different. They're not coming up with new revolutionary ways to whatever. It's all the same shit. They're just changing the words to confuse people, to separate it. And it's a dirty tactic. It's fucking dirty. That's a good telltale sign that, they're on the wrong side. In this case, the lawmakers and the liberals and the social media and the actual media, the medical community, they're frantically trying to change the wordage and control the language to shift the narrative. And that's just, I see it for what it is. I see it a mile away. If you believe in something, you shouldn't change the definition of it to fit some new meaning that you're trying to make up. If you believe in peanut butter jelly sandwiches, you don't change the word of jelly and peanut butter. You don't say, I believe in apple butter and nut butter. Now, peanut butter and jelly. If you believe in peanut butter and jelly, come out and say you believe in peanut butter and jelly. Peanut butter and jelly should have more rights because that's what you believe in. Don't change the words of peanut butter and jelly to something else because you're trying to put on a new campaign and a new face because you're trying to separate it from everything else. That's a telltale sign of you don't believe in shit. You're just trying to, I don't know what the fuck you're trying to do, but I am so tired of talking about this stuff. Even in my own video, I'm like, I'm done. I'm fucking done. But yeah, I would really appreciate if I didn't have to read about this and hear about it anymore. But it's going to keep going on until, well, I suspect until World War III or our Civil War here in the United States actually gets hot. In any case, well, I'm going to go play some fucking games or something like that. Peace out, everyone. See you guys when I see you guys.